Local 12 continues its investigation into childhood poverty, Cincinnati's crisis. Tonight, the dollars and cents.
Specifically, we wanted to know how much of your tax money goes toward fighting this critical issue. As Jeff Hirsch found out, that answer is not an easy one to find.
They say there's no such thing as a free lunch, but here at Oyler's School in Lower Price Hill, lunch is free for all of the students in one of the most poverty-stricken parts of town. Inside the school, there's security.
We try to keep our school building open up till late in the evenings because as of right now, it's the safest place for our kids to be.
You can't study at home if you're scared, and you can't learn at school if you're hungry.
I just think that people don't realize what it's like to maybe have to get on a bus just to go to the grocery store.
Thank you.
Of course, while free lunch is free for the kids, somebody pays. We do. The federal government reimburses Cincinnati Public Schools $3 for each school lunch and $2 for each breakfast. That's $50,000 a month at Oyler and $2 million a month district-wide. But figuring out how much we as a community spend overall fighting child poverty is close to impossible. Consider this. The best way to fight child poverty is to fight adult poverty. After all, you can't expect an 8-year-old kid to get a job. But does that kind of spending go into the anti-child poverty column? Probably not. And what about tax-supported mental health services for a low-income parent? Direct spending to fight child poverty? Again, probably not. But it certainly makes the child's life better. So now what?
Our goals include lifting 10,000 children out of poverty within 5 years.
But how? The city of Cincinnati spends about $4 million a year on what's called human services.
Well, we have tripled the amount of funding for low-income human services since we've been elected.
But the city spends $230 million annually, nearly 3/4 of the general fund on police and fire. But with shootings skyrocketing and the public against firehouse brownouts, it's a political balancing act. The reality is the city of Cincinnati could triple its anti-poverty spending again, and it would still only be a small fraction of where most social services dollars come from, namely Washington, Columbus, or you, the taxpayer, here in Hamilton County. There are either federal or state pass-through dollars, which the county handles, and there are also voter-approved tax levies for things like children's services, medical care for the poor, and mental health services. The owner of a typical house in Hamilton County spends $343 a year in property taxes on social services levies, some for kids, some for adults. But that's only about 10% of your total property tax bill, which also includes parks, libraries, and school. Of course, school is an anti-poverty program too, in Lower Price Hill, if not in Indian Hills. So again, now what? Mayor Cranley is putting together a community task force trying to reduce child poverty.
It's just morally unacceptable that we have the child poverty rate that we do.
Cranley says a tax hike is off the table, although some community leaders want a sales tax increase to expand preschool. So now what? Well, we'll see what the task force recommends. But Oyler's School might be a good model. At Oyler, they've leveraged public, business, and philanthropic dollars to put in a dental and medical clinic, eye clinic, and daycare and preschool center. They've also added advanced placement classes.
Why do you suppose he ends the novel this way?
College credit for kids in a neighborhood where many parents have not finished high school. It's progress, but it takes time. Breaking the cycle of poverty is incredibly difficult. Throwing more money at the problem may not be the answer, but not spending may be worse. Consider Oyler.
After school programming, we run it 4 days a week because efficiently that's what we can afford to offer at this point in time. It'd be great to be offered 5 days a week.
If they had the money. Jeff Hirsch, Local 12 News.